We're back to the Total Education Celebrity Show on the Total Education Network. Again, TotalTutor.net for more information. Twitter, Total Tutor, Neil S. Haley. Facebook on the Simply G Media Network, simplyg.com for more information. And I'm really excited to welcome the program my co-host, Jared. Jared, how are you? We're going to have a really exciting guest today, aren't we?
We do, Neil, and in fact, I was actually surprised that you introduced me. I was when you said we have a very excited to introduce. I was expecting you to name our guest before you launched right into me. So I'm going to let you take the honors.
Oh, absolutely. So I'm going to welcome the program. 5-time NBA World Champion, 3-time as a player, 2 times as a coach from the Chicago Bulls, and a 1-time All-Star, Bill Cartwright. Bill, thanks for calling.
Yeah, it's good to be here. It's good to chat with you guys today.
Absolutely. I really appreciate giving us the time. So basically, tell us a little bit of our background for our listeners out there that might have not remembered you. I think mostly everyone has, especially playing for the great Bulls teams. And basically, then we're going to get into some of the stuff you're promoting now.
Well, basically, I was able to play 16 years of NBA basketball, and interesting enough, everybody kind of associates me to Chicago, but I played a majority of my career in New York, featuring such people as guys like Red Holzman, and one of my first teammates was Earl Monroe, and I can remember our first game was against Philadelphia 76ers, which happened to feature a couple of guys that you would know, Daryl Dawkins and Dr. J. So that was a really great time in the league when they had a lot of stars still there that I used to watch as a kid. So it was a really great time before I ended up, of course, being traded to Chicago after 9 years in New York. And we were a little bit successful in Chicago. We were able to win a little bit. And after that, I finished up my career 1 year in Seattle and before moving on to coaching.
And, Bill, it must be amazing to have 5 NBA rings. That's pretty – how many people do you know of your NBA players that have played that could say they have 5 rings?
Well, not everybody has 5. I've been really very fortunate to, for one thing, be able to trade it here to Chicago to be part of that championship team and be able to come in and make a contribution as well. So I was just very, very fortunate, and thank goodness so.
Well, absolutely. So, Jarrett, pretty amazed to have Bill on the show. And you remember, were you a Bulls fan, Jarrett, by the way?
Absolutely, but before that, I was a New York Knicks fan. So certainly, I'm so glad that Bill reminded everyone of his contributions to the New York Knicks and the longevity that he had there, and being such an integral part of that team. But boy, that was an era where pro basketball just had so many recognizable teams and names that even if you were just a casual fan, I think that so many people are aware of the players on every team, at least here on the East Coast. And so, you mentioned players, Bill mentioned players like Earl Monroe. Now, I was maybe 5 or 6 around then, when he was starting for those teams. But, those are absolutely recognizable names.
Well, and the interesting thing is that you have people nowadays, do you know Earl Monroe? They're like, Earl Monroe? I say, yeah, Black Jesus, you ever heard of him? No, never heard of him. So it's a new era of players. It's a new era where, the guys that I admired growing up and the guys that I played with, especially first coming to the league, they're not the household names that they used to be. So it's an interesting time.
So I'm glad actually that you launched in that direction. With kind of the recognizable players. Of course, we have the true superstars that so many people recognize that are really kind of media savvy. But that era that we were just talking about, particularly with the New York Knicks, how much do you think that was related to kind of almost like the playground basketball. I mean, there were significant legends on the New York City basketball courts that never even made it to the NBA, but certainly people knew about.
Well, yeah, and it is kind of interesting for one reason or another. Those guys never did make it to the NBA for whatever reason, but the guys really who did make it there probably were able to stay the course a little more and were able to hang in and not put themselves in a situation where they couldn't be successful. So, I was fortunate enough to play with a lot of those guys.
So, Bill, what are you doing currently? Again, you coached for the Bulls, and then even had a full-time position coaching for the Bulls. And then, what's going on? What are the latest projects you're doing right now?
Well, of course, I'd like to. I'm kind of taking a year off from coaching. I coached played, of course, for 16 years. I coached for about 15. So, and last year, interestingly enough, I was going to take a year off, and I ended up going over to Japan. I had this guy that I knew who was over there, and the team was struggling, and I went over to kind of steady the team, and we were able to right the team a little bit and get them back on their feet, and we were on a nice 10-game winning streak. We were just too far back to get to the playoffs, but it was great. It was, I'd never been over that side of the world, and I learned a lot over there. I was able to be over there for 6 months, and didn't learn any Japanese, but ate a lot of good Japanese food. Right now, I have a background investigation company in Des Plaines, Illinois, which is right by the airport, and we do background investigations for pre-hire. So if you're going to hire somebody, you call us up and we check out their background, and it's called Cartwright Downs, Downes. I'll say it again for you: Cartwright Downs in Des Plaines. We do a really excellent job. We try to bring in excellent service and unbelievably quick turnaround time for a very reasonable price.
How long have you been involved in that entrepreneurial venture, Bill?
Well, my wife and I really own this company for about 6 years. So, and we have a partner also with Sandy Downs, which makes up Cartwright Downs. So we're very fortunate, and we're working on it right now. We're going to build it.
Okay, we're talking to Bill Cartwright. And Jarrett, I was going to say, when Bill was in Japan, he was definitely one of the giants, and I never got to wrestle in Japan. Bill's 7'1", and I am 6'10", so I usually don't talk to people that are taller than me, Jarrett, so this is a little different for me.
Yeah, I like the kind of generalized statement that you just put in there, Neil. No, I can appreciate where you're finally having someone that is kind of like your co-equal, at least in the height department.
Well, definitely not in professional ranks for sure, Jarrett. And it's amazing to hear life after basketball, Jarrett, and how guys find their niche and find the specific things that go on. And Bill seems like he kept that going even when he was coaching.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask Bill, particularly about his business, his investigation business. Bill, how much did you rely on your education, either as an undergrad or graduate level studies? How much did that, now I know the undergrad was a little bit of time ago, but the University of San Francisco is a terrific institution. How much did that prepare you for launching that new business?
Well, it was just a little bit ago that I graduated from school, and I was able to go back to school and get my master's in OD, Organizational Development, after I get done playing. So it does play a factor in the extent of just how you believe what your vision is for the company, what your goals, where you're headed, and how you're going to get there. So it's actually interesting, similar to basketball, because if you're going to be successful, you need a great foundation. You need a great team. And then you have to set some goals. So that's basically what we're doing right now inside of this company to see if we can hit our goals. We know we're going to do great work. And then now it's just all about letting everybody know that you have this great team of professionals out here doing this job, that they're great at what they do, and we just want to go to work for you.
So, Bill, what is your biggest challenge of being an entrepreneur compared to playing basketball? What would you say the biggest challenge of being an entrepreneur?
Well, the biggest challenge is that it's all on you. You can do what you want to do. You can be as big or as small as you want. You can't be as busy as you want. My tendency is to believe that the harder you work, the more successful you're going to be. So you have a lot of mornings where you're up at 4 and 5 in the morning. You're definitely up and gone by 6:30. So it's really whatever you want to make it into. If you want a smaller company, don't work as hard. If you want to grow and to challenge yourself, you're going to do everything you can to make yourself successful.
And that's so true. And Jared, I do that a lot in a lot of ways where, you know me, I pretty much work my 18, 20-hour day with also the family in between. And as an entrepreneur, it doesn't feel, Jared, and this is the one thing that, again, want to bring you over to this side, it doesn't feel like work at all. And that's the key. Sometimes it does feel like work, but it's nice to be your own boss, Jared.
I totally, completely agree with what you're saying, and it's always good to have guests who help kind of educate our listeners, educate us even on the value of the work ethic and how much effort it takes to really be successful. Sometimes we think it just comes so easily, but Bill has again explained and reminded our listeners and us that this is a total effort.
Yeah, and the main thing is that you just you're going to go through some ups and downs, and there's a lot of no's, and there's some yeses in there. You just have to stay persistent. You have to stay persistent in what you believe. Have faith that what you're doing is the right thing, and hopefully you won't run out of money, and you'll be in good shape.
And that's the key thing when you're investing in business. You have to look at those specific things. Bill, also, I was checking out that you are involved in some basketball camps. Can you share a little bit about that? I just Googled it and I saw that came up. What are you doing involving working with kids?
Well, I do some clinics, really just to try out some different things and just try to keep myself busy. That way I do that twice a week. And actually that's just going to go till the end of the month. And then during the summer I'm hoping to get organized a couple of basketball camps. I'm hoping to get one going in Kankakee. I'm hoping to get one, hopefully at Deerfield here in Chicago and maybe Buffalo Grove. So I just want to stay really busy. Just try to teach kids some basic fundamental skills. Just try to keep my mind working, and I think some of my crazy ideas are really good. So I just want to kind of pass along some of that information.
And it's tremendous, Jared, to hear this man's work ethic, Bill Cartwright. Again, lots of professional athletes can't find what they do afterwards. He found it in coaching, then he continued in entrepreneurship and stays in basketball, Jared. And I know you've heard the stories of some of these NFL athletes and NBA that just aren't able to find their niche after their career's over.
Sure, and I think that again, that comes with maturity. Even just, we've had a chance to hear Bill's background, a history of success going all the way back to his college years at the University of San Francisco, where they were part of the NCAA tournaments, and moving on to a highly successful and really a star-studded NBA career, and using his education, his drive, his work ethic to take that to the next step. And I think that's a maturity level that we gain. But I'm going to ask Bill, what he would give as the greatest attribute or characteristic for moving on after those playing days.
Well, I was kind of an oddball because when I was a rookie, I was thinking about that, what I was going to do after I got done playing. And the hard part is that you can't really, or it's very difficult to have another job when you're playing, because anything you choose, you're going to be competing against somebody else. To do that, to be successful, you got to be able to do that full time. So the only way you can do that is if you have a partner. So hopefully, you can find somebody who has similar beliefs and values as you, and be able to help you start your next life. Now, after I got done playing, along with this background check company, I have a restaurant in Highwood, and it's called Froggy's. So I was lucky enough to meet up with a friend of mine who was selling the restaurant, and so it was a place that I loved. I was in there a lot, and I thought a lot about it, and made sure the chef was on board, who was not my partner, and we were able to purchase it. So I own a restaurant as well.
Now, Bill, I'm always known for asking the tough questions here on this show. I'm going to have to ask, was Cartwright's already taken? Was there another restaurant in the area named Cartwright's? Because I'm thinking that would have been the perfect name recognition for your restaurant.
No, actually, Froggy's is a long-established restaurant that's in Highwood. So I bought a place that had been there for about 20 years, and had done really well. So, and also Froggy's is a French restaurant. So, and I don't think Cartwright is a French name.
Well,
no, but certainly recognizable, especially in that area. Well, thank you for, again, another one of our celebrities and personalities. Neil was able to educate me on some good business sense, because I would have named it after myself.
Well, Bill, I'm impressed tremendously, especially as you were not the most braggadocious person on the basketball court. You were the gentle giant in certain aspects, meaning just not, tooting your own horn about things. And again, the humility you're talking about now about, oh, yeah, I'm doing a couple things. Well, you're doing a lot, for sure, Bill, and I'm very impressed. But where can our listeners find information on some of your business ventures so that they can find out more information on you and help out, especially in the Chicago area and different things, and keep up with you?
Well, you can always find me. I am on LinkedIn. I do dabble to stay busy and to stay active. So, I just want to just like a lot of people, I want to be successful. I have a lot of different interests. I'm not bounded by anything. I don't think. I think you're really bounded by thought. And so I like to leave everything open. And, hopefully something exceptional will happen. So we're just looking to have an adventure over here, and hopefully it'll be a good one.
So you want to definitely get back into coaching, it sounds like, Bill. You were telling me you said you took a year off, but you definitely want to get back into that.
I think so. I think that's who I am. I enjoy it. Have a good time at it. I think I'm good at it. So it's a nice challenge.
You certainly were surrounded by, I think, the coach at that time was Phil Jackson. So it certainly seems like you had a good mentor for coaching. That's for sure.
Well, I've had good coaches my whole life.
Yeah.
My high school coach, Dan Wesley, my college coach, Bob Gaylord. I think I was telling you, my first NBA coach was Red Holtzman, Hall of Fame coach. After that, I got U.B. Brown, Bob Hill, Rick Pitino, and then Kate Beard, Doug Collins, Phil Jackson, and then I ended mine last year with George Karl.
Oh, wow.
Wow, those are some amazing names in the basketball field.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, absolutely, Bill. So being a coach, what did you take? You took something from almost every one of your coaches, haven't you, in the way you coach?
Well, I think the big thing is that there's a lot of diversity of those guys, and there's a lot of different ways to win. And, along with that comes a teaching process, and then now after that, it comes a commitment to that system. So no matter what system you're in, you've got to be able to teach it really well, and you've got to commit to it. So I think when those things happen, I think you're successful. So it was a good lesson, and I definitely took a lot of things from each coach, and hopefully I'll have a chance again to use it.
Well, it definitely seems like you will, and we'll definitely have to reach out to you maybe later in the year in the NBA. Give us some ideas of who you think is going to win the NBA title, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on. And again, we're LinkedIn. That's how I met him. I met Bill. I asked him to be one of my LinkedIn friends. So if it wasn't for Bill on LinkedIn, Bill would not be on this show today, Jarrett. So that's the power of social networking, as I told Jarrett before.
Absolutely, and I'm learning a little bit more of that each day. Neil, do we have time for another question?
One more
for
question.
Bill?
Yeah, we got one more question
okay.
for Bill.
Bill, you have a lot of things to be remembered by and known by right now. I wanted to ask you, here's what I remember your free throw shooting technique as watching the NBA during that time. How did you, it was pretty unique. How did you develop that style?
I don't think that's something you really develop. I think it's something that kind of just happens, and you kind of just go with it.
Do you have many people ask you that question these days?
Yeah, mainly they don't ask me. They just kind of want to show me.
But your percentage was still better than Shaq from the free throw line, right, Bill? Way better, right?
Yeah, I would say. Well, I hope so.
Yeah, he was a very good free throw shooter.
What, in the 70s, 76? Do you remember what your career free throw percentage was, Bill?
Yeah, I'll let you guys check it out.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely have to check that out. But you're definitely a good sport, Bill. I appreciate you calling and letting Jared ask the hard questions and letting me ask the easy questions. So I appreciate you calling, Bill.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate it. It's always good to come on. I like talking about basketball, and I've been really fortunate to be able to play as long as I've had, be able to be in the league as long as I have, and I'm just really appreciative for that, and I'm appreciative you guys had me on.
Well, Bill, I appreciate you taking the time, and a lot of guys, they say, hey, we're too busy to take a couple minutes to talk, but I appreciate you doing that, so take care, Bill, and best of luck.
Well, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it, and good luck.
All right, thanks, Bill. Okay, bye-bye. All right, you're listening to Total Education Celebrity Show, powered by the Simply G Media Network, and we'll be back in just a moment.